WTF crafty friends, it is Andrea from Prairie Sky DIY, your Stampin' Up demonstrator in Manitoba, Canada. What's the fold? Today we are doing, I'm not even really sure what the fold is called. It's a bit of a flap fold, but we'll see where this journey takes us. We're doing a little bit of coloring. I've got some Granny Apple Green here. I've already cut out our little bucket and teapot from the Country Flowers die set. So yeah, let's get started. I love the Country Woods Designer Series paper, and it's actually going to be featured quite prominently in our card today because we are using a card base sized piece of it. You can use any pattern of paper that you want. You can use whatever stamp set, cardstock color. Use this as a jumping off point and create the card that you want to make. So we've got our piece. It is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I've got a piece of basic white that is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then we've got this guy here that is, I just need to refer to my measurements. It's 8 inches by 3.5, and it's scored at 4. So first thing that we're going to do is put our base and line it up with the score line so that when we open our card, it's going to open like a card. So I like to kind of line it up with the score line first, add my adhesive. I don't need a ton because it's pretty sturdy and it's not going to go anywhere. So you want to just fold it closed, give it a push, and then I'm turning it upside down because it's easier for me to do it this way than reaching over stuff. And then we're going to close the side. Except I just forgot what kind of card I was making. So welcome to Andrea's crafting journey, where we don't always know what the heck we're doing. All right, so thankfully, holy moly, it's been a month of Mondays. I don't know about you, but it has been crazy over here. So this guy is actually going to go, and it's going to create kind of a flap on the front of our card. So we're going to stick it at the base, or behind our card base. So we're going to kind of aim for roughly center, and we want to make sure that our crease is lining up with the edge of our card so that it will do what we need it to do. And then we're going to open this up again. Oh my goodness. You know, oh shoot. Okay, well, that was not expected. No idea what happened there. Thankfully, it's on the inside of our card. And yeah, going a little bit crazy with the adhesive here because, I don't know, just seemed like the right thing to do. Okay, so now here's our card. We've got adhesive on the inside. There we go. Rub it off, and then we're good to go. So our card is going to stand up like this. I'm going to just give it a good burnish with my bone folder. When I'm doing layers, I like to burnish after each layer to make sure that it is good and sharp, and it's going to close the way we want it to. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have our pot, our kettle, and we've got our little basin, I guess, but it's not going to stay that way. And I think we might actually decorate this panel, but we're going to get some coloring done first. So I always keep scrap paper close at hand because you never know when you're going to need to color. I've got our color lifter, whoops, and I've got 3 colors: Dark Highland Heather, Dark Fresh Freesia, and Light Fresh Freesia. I've also got the color lifter here. Not sure if I'm going to use it, but it's there just in case I need it. So with the blends, there's 2 ends, the nub end and the brush end. I usually prefer the skinnier end for coloring just because I find usually it gives me better control. And normally I like to do circles when I'm coloring because I find that it helps me hide the brush strokes a little bit, or the marker strokes. If you have a larger area, you can absolutely use the brush tip. It'll just be that much quicker. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you're notified every single time a brand new video goes live. I usually do a What's the Fold, usually uploaded on Wednesday. I've been doing a Flashback Friday where I pull a favorite older set out of my stash. And then my favorite is Scrap Attack, which is usually posted on Sunday, where I kind of deep dive into my scrap bin and just kind of see what we can create out of that. Okay, so that's there. So in the Country Flowers stamp set, there actually isn't a stamp for this guy, but the die does leave an impression around the edge where the, sorry, concentrating. It leaves an impression around the edge where you could probably kind of pay a little bit of attention. I don't know if you can see it. I'll bring it closer in just one second. So you can kind of see, it's a little cloudy here today, but you can barely see where the impression is. So that's what we're going to use for our darker layer to kind of give it some dimension and some shape. And we're going to use the dark fresh freesia to add our highlights. So I'm going to use, just kind of flick it a little bit for this guy. Now with the second layer of color, I don't get too terribly picky about it because we're going to go over it again with our lighter color. So I'm just going to kind of zigzag over that just a little to kind of make that line a little bit smoother. And we're just going to, and then go down the center. This will make sense in a minute or two. Okay, so then we're going to do our pot. Actually, I'm not sure that I'm going to do the Highland Heather, actually. It might be a little dark for what I want. And then we'll just go over our lid. Okay, now let's just check this guy out and see. I'll just do a tiny little bit of Highland Heather. Tiniest little bit on the very edge. Tiniest little bit on the very edge. And then we're going to do just the smallest little squiggle down the center. All right. Then, to make sure that everything is blended as we want, I'm going to go over it with the fresh freesia again. And this is the light. It does look a little pinkish, but it does dry very quickly. I'm basically just going over everything. I do love coloring with alcohol markers. They dry really, really quickly. They're a lot of fun to color with. I'm actually going to do the Highland Heather right here in the spout, because I feel like that would be a darker spot. Anyway, and then I said that this is going to make sense in a minute. Now with the teapot, I immediately thought a cup, so we're just going to cut this guy in half. And I'm going to flick a little bit of Highland Heather on the very edge. Just to give it a teeny tiny bit of dimension. So I'm just using the very, very, very edge of the brush tip and just very gently pulling it across the top of the cardstock. Now, do I trust my artistic ability to do? I'm not sure that I do. I am not a very good, drawing is not my forte. My daughter would be able to do that in a heartbeat, not my skill set. So I'm just going to lighten up the very center just super quick here. And then if you wanted to, and you wanted to have the cups on the same side, you could absolutely flip your die over and color on the other side. I'm just going to leave it like this for now. I'm going to put these guys off to the side, and we're going to grab this little flower detail from our stamp set. Oh, he's little. Okay. And we're going to go over it with, are we going to do Versamark or are we going to do Granny Apple? Well, I think we're going to do Granny Apple just to give it a little bit more dimension, I think. And did you even craft if you did not put your finger right through your ink pad? I don't think you did. And we're just going to randomly stamp this little guy. You could also run this through the embossing folder, which would be super, super cute. And I'm just going to actually do repeat stamping so that it's a little bit lighter with each pass over. And we just kind of want to go a little random here. One more there, one there maybe, and that one goes there. All right, we're good. You can keep adding as many stamped images as you want, whatever makes you content. I'm just going to stick this guy over here. So there's our stamped panel, and then we're just going to place our teapot and our cups. Let's see, we're going to do it that way. Yeah, I kind of like that. All right, so we will do dimensionals. Yeah, maybe dimensionals. So one for each cup, two for the teapot, and then we'll do the tiniest little strip for our teapot lid. Okay, so I'm going to put our teapot on first, and then we'll do a cup here. We'll do our other cup here. Now our lid is teeny tiny. So we're just going to use a teeny tiny little strip. Oh. Cat's been in my craft room again. She loves to lay in front of my big window. Okay, and then we're just going to place this guy just like that. If you have the foam strips, you can use those as well. And then we're just very carefully going to place our lid onto our pot. And I kind of, okay, I'm not really liking that. So let's do, there, I like that better. I was trying to think of what I wanted to do for the top. Now these are retired. These are the classic matte dots. My favorite embellishment over the last couple of years. And I'm just going to take the dark Highland Heather and very quickly okay, well, not that one because it popped right off the adhesive. Is that Highland Heather? No, that's Fresh Freesia. No wonder it wasn't looking dark. There we go. Do Highland Heather, and we're just going to let it dry for a couple of seconds. And while that's doing that, we're going to do Best Friend Ever, because who else do you want to share a cuppa with than your best friend? And we're going to stamp it in Memento, because a little bit of black on a card, I think anyway, kind of just brings it all together. Now this is the first time that I'm using this set, so, or this stamp, so I am going to stamp it off first and make sure that it's going to stamp well. And then we're just going to pick a spot here that's a little bit, I probably should have stamped it before I put everything together, but it's, you know, the chaos craft room, so we're just going to roll with it. Oops, I forgot to close my blender. And take your pick, close at hand as usual. And we're just going to pick this guy up and we're going to plop him, whoops, right down. So we've got a little bit of extra dimension on our teapot. So now we've got a card. We can write a message in here if we wanted to. We can write a message on the inside of our card. It was a little chaotic getting here, but here's our WTF card. What's the fold? If you do try it out, I would love to see what you can create. You can pop on over to my Facebook page. And always, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little bit today. I really appreciate you spending some time. Have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.